Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH and welcome to episode 8 of the Kobe Hunt. Today we have a quick look and review on the Nike Kobe 9 Elite Showtime. To start things off, the Nike Kobe 9 definitely has legendary status in the basketball community because the traction on the Kobe 9 is definitely one of the best tractions we have ever seen on a basketball shoe. Then with this Kobe 9 Elite as well as the Kobe 9 Elite Low, we were able to get Nike's Flyknit for the first time on a basketball shoe. However, one big bummer for the Kobe 9 is that Kobe was only actually able to play 6 games in these because after so many years of battle and years of chasing championships, Kobe's body simply started betraying him. In the 80th game of the 2012 to 2013 NBA season, Kobe tore his Achilles tendon, and this is what kept him out during training camp, the NBA's preseason, and the first few games of the regular season. Then unfortunately, after 6 games playing in the Nike Kobe 9s, Kobe sustained a fracture in his left knee. The Lakers did expect him to be sidelined for at least 6 weeks. However, his return kept getting pushed and pushed back, which is why even though Kobe Bryant was voted in as an All-Star starter, he wasn't able to play in the All-Star game. Then after the All-Star break, his return got pushed back yet again. And then finally, in the middle of March, the Lakers announced that they were shutting Kobe Bryant down for the rest of the season. With Kobe only playing 6 games and averaging 13.8 points in those 6 games, the Lakers plummeted in the standings and finished the season with the second worst record in the Western Conference. This was definitely a very hard season for Lakers fans to swallow because, you didn't have Kobe. Pau Gasol was really old. Steve Nash was just injured pretty much the whole season as well, which means you were pretty much left with Chris Kaman, Jody Meeks, and Swaggy P. However, on the bright side, the Kobe 9s did release during that 2013 to 2014 season, and to this day, it's still one of the best tractions we've ever had in any basketball shoe. Then with that out of the way, let's get into the review. I did get these on the resale market and they didn't come with the original box, but as you can see, they are pretty well maintained, so I don't really have any problems with that. And the Kobe 9 box is pretty similar to all of the other Kobe boxes since it also does have a pretty simple box design. Oh, and before I get into the tech specs on the Nike Kobe 9, it is important to note that this was the time when Nike was fooling around with all of the Nike Elite stuff. So you had 3 different iterations of the Kobe 9. You did have the Kobe 9 EM, which were a low-cut shoe. Then you had 2 Elite models. One would be this high version, and then you had a low-cut version. And both of the Elite versions used Flyknit. Then just a few quick tech specs on the Nike Kobe 9 Elite. For the outsole, you do have that absolutely legendary traction, and it has this sort of foot map design consisting of wavy lines. It's not your usual herringbone or radial pattern, but this is definitely one of the best tractions ever. The only downside would be that the rubber grooves are pretty thin and pretty shallow, so the durability of the rubber isn't the best. Then for the cushion, once again, we do have that drop-in midsole setup, and for all 3 of the Kobe 9 models, you have a Lunarlon drop-in. The Lunarlon drop-in midsole definitely makes you feel low to the ground, while still having a little bit of plushness and impact protection. But the only downside to Lunarlon is that it does bottom out pretty quickly, or at least when you compare it to other foams. Once it does bottom out, the cushion is pretty rough, and the impact protection would then be sorely lacking. Then for the materials, unlike the Kobe 7 and Kobe 8 that also had drop-in midsoles, the Kobe 9 doesn't have any phylon on the outside of the shoe. Instead, what you have is some rubber that comes up here on the forefoot, this pretty robust plastic here on the midfoot, and this carbon fiber on the heel that's on both sides. This definitely aids in support and containment. However, with all of this plastic and carbon fiber here at the back of the shoe, it does feel a bit clunky. Of course, since these are pretty hard materials, you don't get any heel compression, but if you do feel like you need all of that support, then at least it has you covered. Then for the upper, from the forefoot all the way to the midfoot, you do have that first gen Flyknit. And even though it isn't quite at the same level as Flyknit is today, it still feels super awesome on foot. Then here at the back of the shoe, you have this very high sleeve, and this really did take me by surprise when it released in 2013 to 2014, and to this day, it's still amazing just how high the cut of the shoe is, because in my opinion, it definitely looks like a boxing boot. The sleeve piece is made of this pretty soft textile, but you also have some thin synthetic pieces around the ankle portion. Then here on the tongue, the top portion is very fat and pretty padded, and you have that same synthetic material. Then for the rest of the tongue, you do have that super nice Nike Torch material, which allows the tongue to be padded and well ventilated at the same time. The materials on the Kobe 9 definitely feel really nice on foot, and for the first basketball shoe to feature Nike's Flyknit, this definitely knocked it out of the park. Then for fit and sizing, I did go true to size, and it fit me perfectly well, just like any Kobe would. However, in my opinion, it is just a touch below the Kobe 8's fit because there is a tiny bit of dead space on the top of the toes. This actually only holds true with the Nike Kobe 9 Elite and Kobe 9 Elite Low because, like I said, this was the first first basketball shoe to feature Flyknit, so I'm gonna give them a break on that one. However, in my experience, the Kobe 9 EM had an even better fit compared to the Kobe 9 Elite. So for sizing, I would recommend going true to size if you have narrow feet or normal width feet. However, if you do have wider feet, you do have some rubber that comes up here on the forefoot, and you also have that plastic here on the midfoot as well as that carbon fiber in the heel, so there is a lot of potential for pinching. So if you are a wide footer, go up half a size or maybe even a full size. Then just one more thing about the fit, it is kind of annoying to get the shoe on and to lace them up because you do have that super high cut and you have so many eyelets. You have 10 eyelets and that's just a lot of lacing, but it definitely keeps you locked in, so at least that's a bonus. Then for the aesthetic details on the shoe, on the heel of the outsole you do have this yellow cutout and you have an embossed Kobe logo. Then of course you have that signature Kobe code, so you can find it here on the forefoot part of the rubber that comes up and here on the heel as well. On the lateral and medial side of the heel you also do have that carbon fiber, and then here at the plastic part of the heel you do have this small Kobe logo. Then here on the Flyknit part of the upper they did have different color threads, and this really did give it such a unique aesthetic. For the Showtime colorway, it is predominantly purple here on the lateral side, and then here on the medial side, it is predominantly this yellow and orange mix. Then here at the ankle part as well as the top of the tongue, you do have that synthetic material that has a purple metallic finish. Then here at the textile on the back, you do have KB 9, and then you have these 9 red stripes. Then here on the tongue, you do have that Nike Torch material, which is composed of purple mesh and yellow foam underneath it. You also have yellow flat laces, a silver Kobe logo on the top of the tongue, and the yellow Kobe signature as well. Then here at the back of the tongue, you do have Showtime written and another Kobe signature. Then for the overall aesthetics, the Nike Kobe 9 is a pretty good looking shoe, but as you already know, the Kobe signature shoe line definitely has a lot of fire models. So even though the Kobe 9 looks good, I feel like it falls short of the Kobe 7s, the Kobe 6s, the Kobe 5s, the Kobe 8s, you know, even the Kobe 4s, and like the Kobe 11s. So if we're just talking about the aesthetics among Kobe signature shoes, the Kobe 9 is a bit below average. It also doesn't help that the Nike Kobe 9 Elite looks like a freaking boxing boot. But of course, if you don't like the super high cut, you always have the option to go with either one of the lows. This was actually quite the dilemma for me when I was buying a pair of Kobe 9s because I really love this Showtime colorway, but this colorway only exists on the Nike Kobe Elite High. So in the end, the colorway won and not necessarily the cut of the shoe. But of course, even though I don't think that it looks as good as some of the other Kobe's, the aesthetics on the shoe are definitely good. So please sound off in the comment section down below where you think the Kobe 9 ranks among the other Kobe models in terms of their overall aesthetic. And then also comment down below how you feel about the collar height on the Nike Kobe 9 Elite, and do you see what I mean when I say that it looks like a boxing boot. Then for the price, when the Kobe 9 released in the 2013 to 2014 NBA season, the Kobe 9 retailed for $160 US, while the Nike Kobe 9 Elite retailed for an insane $225. This was exactly around the time when all of the Elite models were just super overpriced. So you had the Kobe's, the LeBrons, and the KD's all having really expensive Elite models. And I'm just really happy that Nike decided to discontinue that. However, of course, since this did release a really long time ago, I was only to get these on the resale market. I was actually able to get these at a really good price, so I got them for 6,500 pesos or around $130 US. I got my pair from Mig Enriquez and he definitely kept these in really good condition. So I'd just like to give him a quick shout out and, you know, thank you bro for keeping these in really good condition, and I'm definitely excited to play in these once the courts open up again. So if you're looking for a pair of Kobe 9s, the prices actually do fluctuate quite a bit on the resale market because I got mine for around 6,500 pesos, which is kind of a steal because there are still some colorways of the Kobe 9 on the resale market that are above 10,000 pesos. Most of the time these are the Kobe 11 Elite lows, since it is in my opinion the most popular of the three because it does have that Flyknit without having this whole, you know, boxing boot situation. But like always, when you're looking on the resale market, you just have to really search well so that you can find the best prices. So there you have it guys, that was episode 8 of the Kobe Hunt featuring the Nike Kobe 9 Elite Showtime. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for any future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. Then if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It will help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.